GEM has completed 285 transactions in 60 countries. Under this investment agreement, GEM has committed to subscribe for new shares in the listed entity currently being acquired by Aurora, up to an aggregate subscription value of 725 million. We are at the moment, through the same funding model, in the process of acquiring interim funding that will speak to whatever interim obligations we would have in the intervening period. Mindful that these processes really are sort of back to back, and you cannot accelerate one unless you've finalized the first. We satisfied with the advice that we've received from an operational level that both those mines are in fact viable entities. And each of them represent two totally different challenges. GEM would provide funding to a listed entity. They've made that a precondition of their funding. I just want to remind us once more that these are assets in liquidation. The matter comes before court on Friday. We're in negotiations or speaking to the liquidators as to what would be the requisite steps that need to be taken so that we can finalize the transaction. I think we must remind ourselves that that's a preemptive step that needs to be taken, and that we mustn't speak as if the entire deal has been consummated to the extent that we're now at liberty to do with those assets as we want. I don't understand it to mean come hell or high water, one is going to maintain the labor force, even if it, at the end of the day, operates to the very detriment of that labor force. The labor problems that we have now was certainly not a sort of stratagem which we had introduced, in a way of trying to cull labor. The fact that we get the blessing of the actual liquidators, as you well know, is not the last hurdle that we need to scale. There's a regulatory process which we likewise need to satisfy, and then ultimately there's the question of listing, which also comes with its own regulatory framework.